Hello everybody, thank you very much for inviting us to come and speak today. I'm going to use the podium and Ian's using the other microphone. So here we are. Why we're targeting verticals and 360-degree models and why we're upbeat about the future. So, as you've heard this morning, and Peter Kreisky's speech, you probably already know a little bit about Burda, and so you'll know that we're a traditional media business with a very strong print legacy. So what that actually means is that we have extremely deep connections within the reader community, with an audience, and within the advertising community. However, right now this incredibly challenging economic environment is pushing us extremely hard to transform our business faster than ever before and to make sure that we create a really fantastic offering to both of these two communities. On the one hand, the audience, and on the other hand, the advertisers. So this is building quite a lot on what we've just heard from Wei about interest, value chains, activation, business models, leadership, and so on. So it's quite nice to come after someone who's already opened up your neurological pathways about this. So you heard this morning from Peter what the ethos of our company has become. It's a media and tech company. So technology and data is at the heart of everything we do. It's the heart of the transformation of our business. Technology and data are the two key tools in the improvement and the development and the expansion of our product offerings, and that comes especially so within our enthusiast communities. So why are we here to talk about Burda style? Well, this is really the key legacy brand in our company. This lady you can see on the screen, this is Burda. She's the founder of Burda Style magazine, but she's also the mother of Hubert Burda, the owner of our company. So you can no doubt imagine this is a family matter, and therefore it's a little bit like operating on an open heart when you do transformation processes with your boss's mum's baby. So, okay. Burda Style, maybe a lot of you know the brand, but it's been an international business for many, many years. So when we're traveling around the world, talking to potential business partners, to advertisers, or even if we're just checking into hotels or talking to people about where we work, we hear so many times, "Oh, I know Burda, that's the sewing magazine. I remember that. My mum used to use it. My grandmother used to use it. My favorite recipe comes from that magazine in Russia." So everybody has really a story to tell about how this brand has interacted with their lives. And there are many, many media brands out there which have this, but this is our very special title, which is incredibly close to the heart of many readers around the globe. So as you can see, Burda Style is not a particularly young magazine. It was launched 65 years ago in post-war Germany. And what it was then was a mass market magazine. And it was a mass market magazine because in those days it wasn't possible for women to get fashionable clothes. So Burda Style provided, and in those days it was Burda Modern, and it provided pattern sheets for women to be able to create fashionable clothing that they could see from Paris and so, but couldn't buy anywhere. However, along this chart, all along the way, now we're 65 years later, and in fact, we've gone and transitioned along this process from being a mass market title for people who couldn't afford to buy clothes to being a special interest niche magazine for people who are sewing enthusiasts, which is a very, very different topic or a very different business model. Because it's a different business model and times have changed, obviously we need to treat it very differently. And obviously during this very long period that the magazine has already existed, or the brand has already existed, you know, there's been a huge change in consumer habits, of reading habits, of purchasing habits, and so on. But the last few years, this change has been enormous, with the arrival of technology and the ability to access technology and information from wherever you are. So, of course, everyone in this room who's working on legacy print business knows this, because we're all facing the same challenges. So, what we've realized, obviously, and you've heard this many times, and you'll hear it again many times tomorrow, I'm sure, too, is that a print-first business or a print-only business doesn't work any longer. And we have to innovate to stay in the game. It's absolutely essential that we innovate our product offering and our platform offering and so on. But what we also know is that innovation really is only innovation when it's money in the bank. An idea, there are thousands of ideas. There's absolutely loads of things you could do, but until you turn that into profit or turnover, then it's really not an innovation. So the way that we're creating our innovative products are from the basic use of data and analytics. So we have a strong database for the brand in many markets, and we're beginning more and more to leverage this database, on the one hand, to create tailor-made offerings for the consumers and the advertisers, but also into allowing us to engage more, to find out a lot more about what people would like to have, so that we know exactly where our next steps should be. And this wonderful data makes it it enables us to be able to create what we think and have called, and we've seen many other people have called it too, this wonderful brand ecosystem. And there's no one better to explain to you about what a brand ecosystem is and how that kind of platform works in a vertical community than Ian, who's our CEO from Brazil, who has set out about making an incredible business where the magazine only plays a very small role in the whole of the ecosystem. And he's going to tell you a little bit about a case study of how we set about setting up our business in Brazil.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I thought that the best way to start this would be to share with you a real story, and a meaningful story for me, of our entry in Brazil. We knew entering in Brazil would not be a walk in the park. We realized that we had to gain relevance and differentiate ourselves from the existing players immediately. So we decided to position ourselves not as a single magazine publisher, but a multimedia operator. We thought this was the right decision. But what we did not know at that time was how critical this decision was. And that became evident immediately after. Just before launching our print edition, when we first started to approach our endemic advertisers, we would identify ourselves as being part of Burda magazine. And as Francis pointed out, everybody knows Burda magazine. But the majority of them would know us, but many of them would just say, no, thank you. They were simply not interested in meeting us. For, as they said, they no longer work with magazines. Fortunately, we could then explain that the magazine is just one part of our project. We will be also launching the largest sewing community, a website that will carry our content, but we'll also have an e-commerce platform that will be selling to this community. This website will also have a marketplace that can sell your products to this community. We'll also be having an education division, a weekly TV program, and one annual expo. Now, once they heard this, then they wanted to talk to us. A year after, or 3 months after today, they might even not work with our magazine, but the majority of them partner with at least one of our platforms. This presentation will cover how we handle the launch of our multi-platform business in Brazil, and it will start with our fundamentals. We believe that special interest magazines targeting verticals are very resilient. Its readers are passionate, they want to know, they want to learn, they want to buy, they want to have other experiences. They are multi-platform. And we see their needs as business opportunities. If they want content in different formats, we will provide it before someone else does. We are platform agnostic. We overcame the platform dilemma. Our aim is to tailor our content to the needs of our audiences. And we look at technology as being key, helping us enhance our magazine business, transforming passive audiences into active community of enthusiasts. We believe that engaging our readers into digital communities is the first step. Now, let's see what was the strategy to make this concept work. I believe that scarcity can be a great resource. I start up with this mindset, helps you to properly adapt your structure and strategy. And that's exactly what we did in Brazil. We managed to launch 6 businesses in 9 months with a staff of just 8. And this is basically how we did it. As said, we focus on high interest verticals. We believe that this is a segment that fits our model best. Our aim is to tailor our content. This can be print, digital, workshops, events, and so on. The cost side has to be highly efficient. It is key to have a staff that is able to multitask, and you should outsource the more that you can. We enter segments that were totally new for us. The way we did it was by partnering with leading operators. That helped us to diversify fast and to learn. In addition, when partnering with a leading operator, you're immediately seen as part of the leadership, benefiting from their know-how and know-who. Now, let's see how this strategy was applied in the launch of our platforms. I will just introduce the platforms and I'll get in more detail later on. We were the 4th magazine to enter the sewing segment in Brazil. We knew that to gain relevance, we had to launch as many platforms as we could in the shortest time possible. We started by gathering the sewing enthusiasts into a digital community using the main social media platforms available. When we reached approximately 50,000 followers, we then started launching all other platforms as follows. First, our website, content and e-commerce platform, but also a marketplace for our partners. The print edition, Academia Burda, an educational division teaching beginners as well as vocational training programs for economically deprived groups. Burda na TV, a weekly TV program with a TV shop business associated with selling kit Burda, and Burda Expo, our annual exposition trade show on sewing. All platforms are integrated and exploring all possible content, business, and marketing synergies between them. We look at it as an ecosystem, serving the sewing community and monetizing from it. This ecosystem is also a good example of how we can diversify our business. We went from being a simple print platform to a portfolio of sustainable and profitable operations that we will see next in more detail. Social media. This was our first step into the market, helped us not only to gather our community, but also to position ourselves as a young and popular brand. We see social media in our ecosystem, in the center of our ecosystem, connecting to all platforms, being a communication, promotion, and market research tool. Social media was the base that leveraged the launch of all other platforms, such as the website that came right after. Although in beta version, this site was a major help to communicate, sell, and promote our initiatives. It is a content site, but also, as I said, a shop, an e-commerce platform selling our downloadable patterns, academia courses, subscriptions, and promoting our initiatives. As we have in Europe, we're adapting this platform to operate as a marketplace, selling our partners merchandise, related merchandise to our audiences. Only after launching all our digital operations, we then went and started launching our offline. The first one was the magazine. And truth must be said, this whole multi and integrated model is possible only because it all starts with a high quality magazine and very strong brand. We offer the most accurate patterns and user-friendly methodology. But the magazine is not easy for beginners, and that's why we launched Academia Burda, as we see next. If you ever seen one of our single patterns sheets, you will understand why I say that the magazine is not easy for beginners. Sewing is no longer being taught in schools, but there is a new generation that wants to learn how to sew. In addition, when teaching with the Burda method, we are creating new readers, new magazine buyers. They will want to buy the magazine to do new projects. So we launched Academia courses, classroom and e-learning, as we had in Europe, but we have identified in Brazil another opportunity, that is the vocational training for economically deprived groups. Now, why sewing is so suitable for this social inclusion programs of economically deprived groups? Sewing is an activity that demands very low investment. It can be performed from home, it's a home business, serving the nearby community. In addition, with our method, it is easy to teach, easy to learn, and easy to do on a daily basis. She gets a magazine that will give her ideas every month, approximately 50 different models. We design a comprehensive program that is beyond a course. Students are granted the possibility to attend classroom courses. Upon completion, they will receive for free a sewing machine, an initial kit of material, and a MEI, that in Brazil stands for a micro-entrepreneur certificate. That is a basic form of a company that will allow them to pay taxes, have access to social welfare, and have a formal activity. This program is opening a whole new horizon for us. National and international funds and development agencies are partnering with us in developing it. Next, we have Burda na TV. Crafts TV programs are very popular in Brazil. We acquired a slot in the most popular TV program, and launched our program. This program has a TV shop business associated with. To monetize this platform, we launched Kit Burda. Kit Burda is a ready-to-sew kit made up of a magazine, a video class teaching how to do 2 projects of that particular magazine, and the material that they will need to do these projects. In addition, the TV program and the TV shop operation also helps selling subscriptions and our other initiatives. And last, we have Burda Expo. I'm a true believer that expos offer a lot of synergies for magazines if we manage to customize it, meeting the needs of visitors and exhibitors. In Brazil, visitors want to learn more about craft techniques and products. Exhibitors want to sell much more than to promote. We customized Burda Expo to meet both aims, and we did it with free Academia Burda lectures on sewing-related topics, free Academia Burda workshops using different brands of sewing machines, live fashion student contests, and several parallel exhibitions. We only promoted Burda Expo within our ecosystem and managed to attract over 3,000 visitors and 33 exhibitors. We received very positive feedback from visitors. Exhibitors reported higher than expected sales, and the media coverage we had from this event was way beyond our expectation. This overall result is very important. Burda Expo was seen as a success. And one thing is to say you have brand equity. The other thing is to actually prove it, as Burda Expo did. The show helped cement the launch of our operation in Brazil. Well, what we learned with this whole ecosystem strategy. First, we became relevant. And this is a key achievement today for a magazine in Brazil. Clients now see us as a partner that can provide alternatives and possibilities to promote and sell their products. The system also helped us enhance our ad sales capabilities. We now offer a multitude of media opportunities beyond print. Monetizing them is an exercise of customizing it to the needs of our clients. It also helped to optimize our marketing initiatives by focusing our communication within the ecosystem, made our marketing more effective and reduced considerably its costs. And last but not least, we are a seller, but we are also a buyer. To organize our programs, to put, for example, the vocational training in place for the next 12 months, we expect to buy approximately 3,000 sewing machines and sewing kits of materials. We spread this around, we started getting quotation, and we have a list of companies that are eager to supply us. It is very interesting to notice that in this list, we find many of those no thank you companies. They're eager to work with us now. So as you can imagine, our relationship with these clients is mutually enhancing and our position is changing. As a final remark, I want to say that I see a lot of opportunities to develop our magazine business. The Burda style case is maybe a good example of an example that can be rolled out to other verticals and communities. But in order to do that, we must be open to new forms of businesses, listen to our stakeholders' needs, and customize our offer to what they desire. And remember that if we do not do it, someone else will. Thank you very much.
So Ian's given you quite a nice introduction to what's going on in Brazil with our brand. But what he didn't mention was that this is the first full year of operations for the brand in Brazil. We were there last year too, but this is the first full year. And the magazine will only be 40 to 45% of our turnover. And next year it will be significantly less than that. So we are not just talking the talk, we're actually walking the walk in terms of revenue generation. It's not just a pretty picture. To bring it back a little bit to the vertical topic as well, you can see that this ecosystem that we've created in Brazil has a vast amount of touch points for the consumers and also the advertisers. And we do this now across the different editions of Burda Style in the different markets, but we've also transferred much of this knowledge to other verticals like gardening or food and so on as well. That's a key learning for us, is to take what we know and to adapt it to other verticals. And one of the things that we've learnt, and we've also learnt from our colleagues in Turkey, and Mehmet is also sitting here in the audience, is that events have become a vastly profitable part of our business for us. In some of our brands and some of our communities, we have the event business being 30% of our revenues these days. So the events have become a cornerstone, like the magazine used to be, but now the events are a cornerstone in what we do, and especially in the expansion of the database, and especially in the depth of the database, growing the depth and the richness of the database. We really are building on this event business as well. It's helped us to grow our turnover, our revenues enormously. Because when we start to develop our audiences, it enables us to generate more profit. And as a company, it's our goal to be innovative, fast, as Ian showed you, very collaborative with external companies. And because effectively that allows us to create a vast amount of new products with a very low amount of investment, which is obviously for in risky markets like Brazil essential. And it means that we're creating quickly a vast amount of products that are needed or wanted by the community that have a high ROI. So what does that mean for our teams? Well, in the case of Ian, he was lucky because it was a startup company and he was able to hire people that were willing and able to work in that way. For the rest of our teams, it's a much more difficult process. So they've had to all acquire a multitude of new skills. They've had to rearrange their days and their workflows in order to be able to facilitate the implementation of these goals. So that means for us as a company, we have to do a lot of training, a lot of communication. We have to help significantly from headquarters with this. But we believe that the connection with our teams, with best practices, sharing, communication, that it helps our teams to become much more ingrained in the communities in where we are working and where we're actively creating content. And it makes us more innovative and bring more things to the market. So that creates an enormous potential going forward for exciting multi-brand platforms. And as we can see, or you can see from our presentation, we feel that the sky is the limit. So this has to be, like it was said this morning, the most exciting time possible to be in magazine media. And in the words of our CEO, it's time to attack and just get on with it and just do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. I mean, a very positive and uplifting, if I may say, to round off the day presentation. One question that occurs to me, sitting behind all that, and you've already alluded to the importance of data, there must be a fairly sophisticated IT platform that pulls all these things together. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Did you have to go off and create your own in order to make this happen?
Do you know what? What most of our teams use is Excel.
Oh,
Right. So to be honest with you, we're creating and we're really working on developing new database technologies or using various different things across the different markets. But we start with Excel because we don't go out and make massive investments into technology until we get the revenues back in. So we do it step by step and use the simplest, most effective and easygoing tools that we possibly can.
right. Well, that's a bit of a bombshell, isn't it?
Sorry.
The other thing that sits behind that is the business model. And again, you've touched on that as well. That clearly where you make your transaction, where you make your money, differs a lot from market to market and from country to country. Does it vary a lot, or do events work in every market, full stop? Or?
Well, I can compare with maybe Iberia. That is an operation that I'm close to it. I would say the events in Brazil, especially expos, they're much more popular than in Iberia. The academia, if you consider it as an event, is I would say equivalent, although in Brazil we have the vocational training that will have an upside that you won't find in Europe. As to the other events, I don't think we have enough history to compare. The operation is a year old, so I think we need more time to answer it properly.
Okay.
Though we have many events in other verticals like food and gardening and things like that, and they transfer very well from the style and the revenue models. They travel quite well across the different markets.
Right. Okay, thank you guys. I'm very conscious that we need to move on because we've got to feed back into the plenary session downstairs. So thank you both again. It was a great presentation.